Miss me with the bullshit.
Yo, what it is, you know what it is. It's Maddie C and the crew.
I'm Dominica.
Mia P.
The modern day music man, Jamal McMillan.
And
Mrs. McMillan.
the modern day music woman. This is Miss Me with the bullshit. Alright, boom. We was talking off camera. We about to get on camera. Why is black demonized? As in black, as in us.
Right.
Why is black demonized? Alright, you had a lot to say, so take it away.
Yeah, so it really, can be explained best when you start from a historical perspective, right? You say, well, the demonized are black people,
right?
Men and women. Who's the demonizer, right?
White people.
Right.
All right.
But I would say more than white people, I would say white men. Before poor thinking white men got to all the hate and demonization of us, right? They were already doing this to their white wives.
See, here's the thing for me, right? Not to cut your wisdom on that. For me, I think like we give it too much. We put too much of the blame on white men, right? When it's all of the motherfuckers. It's white men, it's white women, it's every other race of man and every other race of woman. Yeah. So let's not exclude the women or let's just pit it on the white man. All of these motherfuckers demonize black. But continue.
The most grandiose of these perpetrators is the white.
Now I would know that all you hear about is what.
Who do you know has victimized black people more than a white man? You can't name any other group of people that have.
I would just say every other
that
group
more. Not to say that others haven't done.
I wouldn't say that they did it any less. I would just say that they not as arrogant or as cocky as white men, and it's like
I think it's a position thing. Sorry.
That's
well, it's a position thing. You saying they're not as cocky, but like they've been in the position. White men have been in that position to be able to do that. But like you're saying what else is next?
And that's
the next person?
That's what I was getting to. They're the incumbent power, right? They've been, so anytime there's a new power rising against the incumbency of power, there's always resistance there. So when they see the change, and especially a progressive one, because if there was a diminishing change, they wouldn't really pay that attention. But that's the reason why all of these different cities and states across the old United States were experiencing black towns that were getting rioted, tormented and tortured, terrorized by groups of white angry militias, right? That came in and took over these towns. Those weren't Asian men doing that. Those weren't the Indians doing that. Those weren't Scottish or Irish men that came over and did that. Those were continental European men, from England that came here as Puritans, and just that in itself is letting you know where their mindset was at. Look what they did to the first people they met.
In proximity, right? Because you got to think, when those blacks and whites live very closely together in the United States, right? You don't have blacks living, especially around the times when they was coming in, burning down our towns like Rosewood or Black Wall Street. You didn't have blacks living right next door to Chinese, or you didn't have blacks living right next door to Indians or anything like that, So that's why in proximity, that's why it seems like it's the white man that, is, causing all the problems or terrorizing us the most. But if you had blacks that live overseas now that are getting terrorized by Asians, when if you have blacks that live in China, right? Mm-hmm. Obviously, you're not Chinese. You're getting picked on and bullied by Chinese people because you're the black that lives over there. The same thing anywhere that you stick blacks at, So that's why I'm not excluding white people. I'm just including everybody, because everybody tries to torment blacks, if they have the upper hand, right? And that's pretty much what it is the upper hand. blacks have been the minority for however long, or we thought or were made to believe that we were the minority, right? But really and truly, the trick that they use on us is the actual truth against them, right? So like with white people, or let's say American whites, right? They'll expand and include white as Russian, German, or anything that's not black. They'll scoop it up and be like, all right, you guys are white people now, you know, honorary white people. When the truth is, everything that's not, you know what I'm saying, that's not white is actually black, because they all originated from black. So you have Asians, you'll have Mexicans, Latinos, whatever the case may be. They are all black people, right? So we technically have the numbers, but we don't know that we have the numbers. They make it seem like, all right, yeah, blacks, Latinos, Asians, when it's like, no, all of us are technically one, you know?
Yeah, I think a bigger majority of us is getting to understand the similarities that we got between, you know, Native American people, Hispanic people, African descendant people, you know, Caribbean, Western Caribbean people, you know, whatever it might be. We're the same thing. I don't want to diminish, me saying what I'm saying, I don't want to diminish the quality of good white folks, right? I grew up as a Roman Catholic. The church I went to was full of white people. My godmother is a white woman. She's a nun. You know, my first wife was a white woman. You know, I don't have a problem.
Call this nigga right quick. Man.
Yeah, yeah. I don't. You know, I don't have a problem with white people. I can only imagine how people who grew up in more evil white times felt about white people, right? So that's why I said it's only fair to start this conversation from a historical place, because it gets a person who's trying to understand what I'm saying to get the main reference, right? That we're saying it still exists today. You know, this evil against the black people, right? Where systemic things have happened, whether anybody wants to admit it or not, right? And that's why I told you before, I don't want to call anybody names. I don't want to say somebody's racist for real. I don't want to say anybody's bigoted, because only those people who, you know, are nihilist or just want to, you know, change the verbiage and its context so they can manipulate or spin what somebody else is saying.
Don't say that you don't want to call
I just describe somebody's actions.
Don't say that you don't want to call anybody racist or don't nobody. You got to tell it like it is. So if you feel somebody's racist, you feel somebody's bigoted, just go ahead and say,
let's go. Well, let me describe their racist action. Right?
No, let me attach the racist action to the racist person that you're talking about.
Somebody killed somebody, right?
Right.
Let me say what their murderous actions were.
Okay.
So a person then can't deny what I'm saying. They only have a chance to interpret what I'm saying or perceive it however they want to. But if you're bullshitting, after somebody just heard the actions I experienced or we all experienced, then most people with good sense will, you know, understand, oh, this other person over here is spinning the narrative, right? Where I'm just trying to inform people. I want you to be, you know, empowered by things that I say, because me keeping a greater truth from you is not part of my mission. I just want to empower everybody with a greater sense of knowing and understanding so we can get past all of this stuff. There's nothing wrong with a racist person. He want to be ignorant and be racist. And even I shouldn't even call it ignorant or whatever. That's just his thinking, right? I would let these people just have all the poor thinking that they want. It's the actions, the you know, systemic poor thinking actions that they commit, you know, and exact and apply to us, keeping us from getting loans, keeping us from getting houses, you know, all the systemic things that have just happened to us, imprisoning our men so that we're taken away from families and all that.
Right, so now we're going to start with the history. Cool, we got the history of it. The problem is now history has already been made. We are in 2025 now. We have continued history. Like we already, 2020, from 2019, 2020, even before that, we have new data to kind of go off of. And so, yes, systemically, white people have started all this and demonized blacks. However, I think that spirit, I guess, in a sense, has then gotten picked up from other races and even ourselves. And I think that's a big thing. And I'm not trying to sit here and just, point the finger at ourselves. But if I look at the history, I honestly don't like to hear about continued systematic racism of we're not getting loans and we're not doing that. Because it's like, what we looking at? What do we see? Because what I'm saying is people are making choices. That's just the facts of it. I feel like we've already had, not even feel like it's facts. We've already had numerous things in place about just policies that we can have for us for just, minorities. And what are we doing with that? Like, where are we putting our time? Where are we putting our energy at? There are multiple successful, ample amount of like black excellence going on in a sense. But like at the end of the day, it's also another hand of it of is people just still, being people. Like I got this philosophy where the world has to revolve. When people talk about high vibration people, low vibration people, or poor thinking people, it has to evolve like this. Like it has to be this way. There's always going to be a series of people who think the way of think racist, being racist, and even black people are racist. And so when we think about us being included in us. Earlier, it was a point that was made where white people pick things up in numbers. Like, okay, you're not black, then you white. But we could do the same thing. We are mixed in this culture. The problem is we don't do that. And that's a fact. That's a fact. American blacks and even Caribbean blacks don't necessarily even get along. Like, we try to take the culture, and I'm not trying to, again, come at my people because I love us, but we try to take, the reality is, we try to take the culture and we try to it's ours, which I understand the feelings of it because so much has been taken from us. So what is ours, we want it to be ours, but our power is in numbers. But if we are sitting here saying, hey, these people are doing this to us, or we mimicking the same energy that's been given out to us, respectfully, if I was white, I would be scared as shit of us. I would be. Because if I'm because we have the power, we have the means, we have the resources, we have the things there. Now, it's the part of what we gonna do with it. Yeah, and when we hear about what we do with it, we talking about basically giving them everything that they gave us.
Right.
Yeah. And giving it back times 10.
We don't know how to navigate our resources.
Yes.
So, it's stuff out there, but most of us don't even know how to get it.
Yeah,
that's because I've said that before. We don't advocate. We don't speak up. We don't help each other. There's no unity.
Before you even get to there, people don't even want to get the unity. They don't even want to learn about the resources that's out there.
Low.
And that's
a part of low vibration. That's a part. That's all in that low vibration.
Yeah. So the question is, why are we still demonized, right? By all races of people,
including ourselves.
Yeah. Now. Okay.
Niggas is on demon time.
That's why. It's power in numbers. We have to make sure we stay divided and down. We have to be conquered.
I think it starts with us first.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It starts with us first.
Straight up.
And if we remain divided in our thought process, then there's never going to be a unity.
See, but here's the thing,
I just think that before we get to this unilateral sense of understanding, or try to do that, I think we should all just admit that's probably never really going to happen.
That's the reality. We're not going to
and they know that.
We all think too different, right? We're very independent-minded people. We share a strife, and that's because of historical things that have happened to us, right? So I only engaged it from a historical point to get to a place to say, look at how much we have risen from that oppression, right? It's been slow rolling over time, but that's how responsible-minded people exact and apply change to a society. They know it's not going to be something that happens overnight, right? So you got to do things in pockets almost so that people with poor thinking don't get a chance to stifle some of these things that are happening, right? Before they become into existence or become fruition. It's just as simple as knowing this. There is a people who are afraid of us for some reason. A lot of them think we're going to overtake them genetically there's going to be so much of us blending into their population that one day they won't exist anymore. Some people have the actual science to back that information up. So maybe they do have a legit reason to be concerned, but I'm just going to say this to those people. No matter what color you end up being, you will still be. You know, we might all evolve to a singular color one day. We don't really know what the future is like.
Even if that happened, if we was all the same color, it'd still be some type of division amongst us. Because then
not if the Neuralinks is on everybody.
It's always going to be a versus something.
You know, we all become, you know, some sort of
nigga, that's millions of years from now, man.
I'm just
talking
saying,
about now.
Think about where we started, right? From the Stone Age period.
Right.
To where we are now.
Think
that is remarkable shit.
You think there was racism back in the Stone Age?
I don't think they thought about it.
Huh?
I believe that people were territorial, right? Because the primal state of your thinking has to be about preserving your territory around you, right? So when you meet new types of people for the first time, that probably wasn't easy for people. It was probably intimidating or scary. So of course you may end up fighting about that, right? Until somebody can say, hey, listen, if they can't try to communicate, right? By saying, look, we're sharing with you something. They might bring them some food. They might bring them some clothes. They just want to make them feel good so they can try and learn the language and talk to them. But again, that's what responsible-minded people were doing, even in that primal state of mind that ultimately led us to building civilizations of people with whole societies where we're now following codes and rules and laws to help our societies, you know, have more continuity and more stability. We didn't get there by somebody just throwing shit out there. You know, this is something we should respect. We used to be hunter-gatherers. That's some real shit. Now we just hunt and gather for sport. We don't have to go out there and do that and then come home to our woman who is a housewife because she probably ain't even at the house. She got her own career now. It wasn't that long ago they didn't let women vote. That's real shit. We forgot that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wonder how many times do we just get complacent in our everyday lives in this era of convenience where everything is literally a finger tap away on a device. You can just have anything delivered to you. You don't have to go nowhere. You can get groceries delivered to your house. You can get somebody to come to your house and pick your kids up and take them somewhere for babysitting. You can have somebody just come by and fix something in your house when it's broken. So we good, but we're not really respecting the past stuff that got us to this point.
I agree with that.
I kind of disagree with that. You want to explain why you agree with it? Because I kind of disagree with it a little bit.
No, I'll let you go first.
I kind of disagree with it because it's like, you started off by saying like, we did just start throwing shit out here. We did just start because we're people. That's what we are. We're humans. That's what we were like. That's the beauty of being a human.
I'm saying we shouldn't be just throwing shit out there. Responsible people should be trying to be pragmatic to bring
the cool thing about it is though, like, that's how we grow. That's how we grow. Like, think about coal, right? When coal first started. Before we found coal and it seemed that it was a natural resource, we was just chopping down trees. We was like, oh shit, this shit is not good. Like, let's figure out something else. Found out that it was coal. We like, damn, this shit is cool. Like, new fossil fuels, cool. Years later, because that was something that we thought about. It was a problem that we seen. We thought about it. We was just trying to look for other things. We evolved. We were thinking. Years later, we found out, oh shit, this shit is burning the ozone. This is a whole nother problem. And so it's like, everything is in a sense trial and error. Like, a lot of the times people do stuff, and we as people, we do things with I really want to say this because I just try to think as people. I know we are, how can I say this? Some people are evil, I get it, or whatever, or considered evil, but a lot of stuff happens because somebody's trying to do good. They don't know that they're doing bad because we don't know even with history, like, the history shows that we just try. Like, it's just all trial and error. So when we get to this point in life, like, where shit is at the I don't know if he was gonna be cursing, but if shit is at the top of the finger, when that was happening, it was seen as something good. We are just now kind of thinking of it like, damn, maybe we should have kind of kept some old shit in the bag. Maybe we should have went back and kept got our bag. But that's just how life works. That's how human. That's what we are. That's who we are. Like, evolve. So.
And guess what? With all of the evolution that you guys just spoke about, right? Motherfuckers is still racist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what we started with. And why did that not evolve to where it's like you're not racist
But guess
anymore?
what? Though?
You know,
it's not in the same way that it once was.
No,
improvement.
It is in the same way. You just can't do certain things like you did before.
So that's what I'm saying. To me, being a racist in your mind is respectful.
Here's the thing.
You think poorly about something, right?
The thing.
But you never apply it to somebody else.
Let me tell you how it's still the same, right? And how you just shift it, right? It used to be 20s, 30s, late 18s, you know what I'm saying, 1890, 1900, whatever the case may be. It used to be white hoods come to your house, burn a cross, you know what I'm saying, drag you out, kill you, right? Now, 2025 is the boys in blue come to your house, not burning the cross no more, but they still come to your house and kill you. So there's nothing different. It's just a different, you know what I'm saying? Right. That's the burning of the cross, right? Come to your house, fuck your whole shit up, you know what I'm saying? And then pull you out, kill you, whatever. So it's the same shit. It's just, it's slightly different, but it's the same exact thing happening. You know, so that's why I said there's no evolution in the racism, right?
Yeah.
There's just evolution in how you killing the motherfucker. That's it.
How it going.
Right.
Yeah.
The expression.
That's it. But there's no evolution in racism. It's always been. It's still going to be racism.
So here's the thing I want y'all to remember, and then I think Dominique should go ahead and reveal why she agreed earlier, right? But I think that it's disrespectful to activists who bled and sometimes died to get a better understanding, you know, permeating throughout society to get us to a better place. And what I'm saying is, yes, it's still horrible out here in circumstances and in different cases. And I would say even a lot of them, right? But to say it's, you know, still not really evolving, I think that's wrong, because we are at a better place. I can think of several things off the top of my head that used to happen, and I understand what you're saying when you say it just happens a different way, right? They may not get you and hang you by a tree,
right?
But they'll lie and say you pulled a gun on them and toss a gun in your car, or they won't cut the camera on and do something crazy to you, and you'll never know why that really happened, type of shit, right? But they don't gather in militias anymore and come take over black towns, right? It's too. They're either because we are too deep now for somebody to try us like that, or you know, there's just a thinking that says, you know what really gets us to change and
not even to cut your wisdom
children.
right quick, right? Not even to cut your wisdom. I don't even think like that's even the case, right? Yeah. They just know like niggas nowadays to just burn shit down, and they ain't trying to spend all the money in rebuilding shit. But because to tell you the truth, I'm pretty sure if they was to try it, they would succeed if they was to march on a black person's town or whatever, black people's town. I think it can be done, right? And
they ain't gonna do that in every black town.
No, it's not gonna be in every town, but I'm telling you,
every black town. I'm saying.
Let me tell you something, right? You know why I feel like it could be done?
They ain't gonna go to Atlanta and do it.
Bro, they could go to Atlanta and do it. You know why? Because they could go to Chicago and do it. Because as bad as niggas think that they are, right? White people are badder, and that's just the reality of the shit. You know what I'm saying?
Think about,
and that's the truth, bro. And I'm not even trying to be funny, and I'm not even trying to give them props or anything like that. You don't got more guns than them, right? You ain't got more ammunition than them. You know what I'm saying?
Resources, period.
Period. These motherfuckers dropped the bomb from an airplane. How many niggas you know own airplanes?
The
you know what I'm saying?
don't even protect us. It doesn't even know.
Right. And that's what she was saying earlier. There's no real legislation that ever happens exclusively to protect black people or advance us exclusively. And every time we get an initiative that promotes us getting advancements in our lives, like DEI, people will say, well, that doesn't need to be there because that's actually the opposite of getting people of real merit the opportunity to do this or do that, to do X, Y, and Z. And these are the people with poor thinking, whether they be racist thinking, bigoted thinking, or just the kind of thinking that says, I'm going to have this prejudicial stance on certain people and say, I feel more comfortable when a white man is in this position than a woman or a black person, you know, or a person with disabilities or a little person.
Check this out. With the DEI, right? Both sides, the people who's benefiting from it and the people who's trying to enforce it, are playing too far on their side. You got to have balance, right? Because DEI put in place so that you can give, you know, marginalized people the opportunity to get into certain places and certain positions, right?
Yeah.
Cool. And that's cool. We agree with that. But what ends up happening, now you just start sticking any old nigga in any old position, you understand what I'm saying? And that's where the problem, that's where now the people who don't want you in there, like, yo, come on, man. You just giving this job to this person or that person when there may be a more qualified white person. Now, I'm not agreeing with them, but I'm just trying to see it from their point of view, right?
They're putting black qualified people in those positions.
That's what I was
No, listen, here's the thing. Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
It's the requirements for the position. They're getting, what DEI does is allow them to look at more like...
Right, more of us, right.
Yes, but they're qualified. We're doing the work. Like, we're not in these positions not knowing what's going on. Like, no.
Yeah.
That ain't what this is.
I feel like a lot of us have heard growing up that we have to work twice as hard to appear half as good as other people. So now the people that if you're working twice as hard or 3 times as hard, right? Your work alone would get you into the doors that, well, not say it would, should get you into the doors of where you need to be at, right? Yeah. But now to see the way that they're looking at it is like, yo, you're pulling in people who don't deserve the positions, you know? So like, let's say I don't have anybody I could specifically point out, but let's say like you put somebody in the position of a person of color, whatever the case may be, right? Mm-hmm. But they don't really know exactly what's going on. You're just in there because they may have credentials, but their credentials aren't for this particular job that needs to be done, right? That's why people be like, yo, let's get rid of this DEI. And I'm not agreeing with it or I'm not disagreeing with it, but I'm just saying that's the reason why most people will be like, yo, let's get rid of this DEI. Because now you're filling it with spaces with people who aren't credible just because they're people of color. But what I'm saying is that they're lying a lot of time. Just to be straight up and frank about it. A lot of people are lying about why they have these positions, right? And that's part of the systemic demonization of black people. They'll say we just not qualified for no reason other than the skin color.
Right.
They can't point and don't point to real reasons why they remove certain people from certain positions. While you're taking black pictures off of, you know, buildings and historical places where these people were being honored for certain things in certain kind of ways. So for me, growing up as a black boy in a black town in Wilmington, North Carolina, right? A town that was also ransacked and terrorized by a white militia. Wilmington was once a thriving black community. And that's where my essence probably was at one point or another, you know, and we lost the battle to these people. In fact, the leader of that mob went on to become the governor of North Carolina. So how you commit bloody murder of 100 some odd black people, taking over the courthouse and the jail and all kinds of stuff, right? And just still thrive out of that. So when we see these kind of things over a period of time, it frightens us. We would never get together and run down on the Capitol building because we mad they haven't created any legislation for us yet to protect us. We just gonna sit and wait. Good. Because we're not the violent people that they portray us to be with the imagery. The violence a lot of times that we apply is done to ourselves a lot of times.
I was just about to say that. So we are the violent people.
So we're
just not violent.
It's just, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. There's not a time where even from our oppressors have we ever sought to overtake them. We just want equality. We want our civil rights. That's not anything to ask for. So when DEI gets a program, mind you, like DEI gets created and somebody tosses out the window why it began in the first place, you can kind of forget after a little bit of success from it comes into play. And then somebody can just kind of think, we don't really need this no more. Niggas doing good now. We had a black president once, we got, all these black people as CEOs and these sports people making money, these entertainment people making money. That ain't the vast majority of our people.
But I want to let the ladies get on right quick.
I feel like DEI programs are being slashed as they're being seen as discrimination. There's a thing now where white people are saying that to have DEI programs, just like having Black History Month, you know what I'm saying? It's discrimination. Why are we having Black History Month? Why do we have to why is this month designated for Black History Month? It's discriminate because we don't have a White History Month or Asian History Month. They did that with DEI. They felt like this program was created to help you guys, and now you guys are getting a little too far ahead. Let's go ahead and slash this and get rid of it because it's not fair. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though it doesn't make sense because they have all of the resources and everything that they need to
double the resources,
right?
And what is put into,
and they come together and they do everything that we don't do. That DEI programs were specifically created for us, but I feel like y'all don't need it no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever y'all have done, this is enough, and DEI has been slashed everywhere for us. But
now y'all want to know what equality is, right? Because I think everybody looking at equality is exactly the same, right? Yeah. Because I feel like we have equal rights. You just want what the white man has, right? You have all these athletes and all of these entertainers, right? Let's use NFL, NBA. Majority of the players in the NFL and the NBA are black, right? Why we ain't start our own league yet? To where you have majority of the owners also black. Majority of everything, the coaches, yada, 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 are also black. And the NBA's been around for how long? I don't know. Somebody look that up. However long it's been around for. The NFL has been around for how long? And it's always been majority of the best players have been black, right? And why we ain't start our own league yet? Because we're not looking for equality. Because the equality is there. You just want the same shit that they have, right? So now you got your man Ice Cube. Not seriously. Because now you have your man Ice Cube, right? Ice Cube started the Big Three, right? How many of us help support what he has going on? Why is he not rivaling the NBA right now? See, because it sounds good to be like, yo, I want equality, but when you actually have equality, niggas don't want to do the work.
I mean,
niggas don't want to put it.
I think it's a fear factor of it all. Kobe, numero uno. Kobe was starting his own league. Okay. Look what happened. It's fear. Every time we try to do something, and somebody makes that step for us, and we have our new, you gotta go. Yeah, no. You gotta go immediately. Our new
same thing. Unless you are part of their club.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so you threw that out there. Are you saying that Kobe was assassinated or?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay.
100%.
That's
what she
And I
said.
think it's
I
an
heard
honor.
it.
Yeah.
I heard
Okay,
it.
I just wanted to make that clear.
Absolutely.
That's what she was saying.
But
I just wanted to
I do agree with her. I agree.
Nipsey
There's some
Hussle.
truth to that because there's celebrities even outside.
Nipsey Hussle was killed by supposedly by a black guy.
They said what? Bill Cosby was supposed to buy what? CBS or something like that.
Yeah, he was about to buy
Mark
that
was
work.
trying to
Yep.
get who? Sony
Yeah.
or something. He was trying to get some.
Michael Jackson had
Michael
some.
Trump, yeah.
Now check this out, right? Bill Cosby and R. Kelly, right? The biggest naysayers was us. We were the ones in the media tearing them down and still tearing them down. So you can't preach this equality stuff when it's not, they're prosecuting them in their courtrooms, but in the court of public opinion, it's us tearing our own
I
people
feel like
down.
R. Kelly did that to himself. But as far as
Yeah,
Bill
it's
Cosby,
it's just why it was brought about. Like why now?
Yeah,
why not back then?
Mhm.
You had the evidence back
That's
then
what make you feel
to put
like
him
that.
away.
Right. But guess
For
what?
a long time.
Regardless
But
of
you
why,
get into now, that's how you know it's fuck shit.
it is fuck shit. And I would
That's
agree
how
with
you
that.
know it's orchestrated.
And I would agree.
Smoke screen type of.
I would
situation.
agree. But guess what? The way that it was done and carried out, same way that they killed my man Malcolm, was using us to bring down our own people.
Yeah.
You understand? So
because there was
you have nobody to blame but us.
There's many sexual harassment and assault cases with Ben Roethlisberger, but he still was allowed to
Yeah.
play. He ain't
Brett
get no time.
Favre.
And you know why?
It's-
Because they don't talk about their people. If anything happens in the white community, Asian community, Mexican community, it doesn't go anywhere. They would never talk bad about their own people. With us, again,
Manning,
we
Robert
start,
Kraft.
oh man, oh, he's a pervert.
Yeah.
You know how many women I seen up there, oh, he's a pervert, and this, that, and the third, and suck-ass niggas saying the same shit about him, niggas, suck-ass niggas talking about Diddy, suck-ass niggas talking about all of our people, right? Just tearing these greats down. Right? So you can't not complain about equality. And it's like, listen, the equality is there. It's what we doing with the equality, So
I think it's on a certain. I think it's
niggas gotta stop being haters. That's how you gotta stop it.
That's what I
Get to the
say.
children.
You can't do any. There's no mechanism you can create that changes people's thought process. Right. You can only give them enough information for them to see that they should be different. So of course there's a lot of black on black crime, but to then not talk about white on white crime would be dismissive of the fact that people tend to hurt people that are closest to them.
I agree.
Right? So that's why we have the kind of crime where it's like race on race activity. And actually, there's more white on white crime statistically than black on black crime.
Now check this out.
Because they outnumber us, period.
Right, and this is what I'm saying about equality, right? So even with that, to say like, oh well, there's more white on white crime, so what are we in competition now? We want more black on black crime because they got more white on white crime, and that's the point that I'm trying to make. They're doing them over there, right? Yeah. We need to be doing us over here. We've never been doing us, and we have the resources to do us, but we don't do us. So there's nobody to blame but us in that situation.
And we're not gonna do us as long as we're adults and we are stuck with the mindset that we already have. Like I said, you gotta start. For one, us adults will have to change our mind and decide if we're going to work together. And then from this point on, we need to start grooming and conditioning our children to be the same way, because we're going to continue the same cycle with everything that's going on. Nothing is ever going to change if we don't actually stick to what the plan is. We stick to it for five hot minutes and then we out of there. We done forgot. Yeah. We off doing the next thing.
People don't know how to think. They don't know how to prioritize. In prioritizing, knowing how to think is the base foundation part of being able to prioritize what you should be doing to get yourself together. Mm-hmm. So if you are not prioritizing, if you're not teaching your child how to think about what's important, they're not going to even know how to do that.
Mm-hmm. And that goes back to systemically as well, because our children in the schools. I'm in the schools. Listen. We can do all as parents and as like the adults, we definitely need to groom our child and help our child get the resources and the knowledge that they know. But the schools ain't even set up to really do that. The schools are even like the programs that are seeming as if we are trying to like push education and just make it the next thing. we are taking away the basic foundations of becoming an independent thinker. Everything is at the fingertip. Every single thing is at the drop of a down convenience. And so even with the curriculum is already kind of fully set out.
Yeah.
Fully set out. You can't deviate from it. I mean, you can, do your thing, but overall, they are already targeting our children to not think for themselves. And so it's about, if I'm being honest, I hate to say it, I don't want to be like this, but I kind of sometimes feel like we be fighting the wrong battle with this shit, in a sense, like, because we want everybody to be on the same page, we want everybody to think the same thing, and it's like, respectfully, that shit is not going to happen, because the way life is, the way that the world works, is just not America, the way that the world works, like, we just already said earlier, is high thinking people, low thinking people, and the high thinking people, I mean, it's in the middle, you know what I'm saying, but overall, if everybody is high level thinking, where do we go from there?
Even higher. You know what I'm saying? You break through the ceiling. If you got high thinking people, you break through the ceiling, and then you start thinking even higher than that, and you just keep going. What you need to do, you need to click all low thinking people if you want to fix the problems. You need to, if motherfuckers can't get with the program, then they get kicked out the program.
That's the same thing. That's the same thing as
because you can't save everybody. That's
not what you do. You don't do that.
That is exactly what you do.
If there's no problems, there's no room for growth and solutions. And so again, we can keep on saying, hey, we break through the ceilings. We don't even know if we are all on the same page, we won't even know what ceiling to break through because there's nothing to go off of anymore.
Check this out.
There's no challenge.
You don't
I understand why
it's going to become a problem. All right? If you live long enough, it's going to become a problem. So if we all make it to here, right? Eventually, there's going to be a problem that needs to be solved and we have to push forward to get to here. And that is the evolution that y'all was talking about earlier, okay? The same thing with the coal. All right, we chopping down all these trees. We need better fuel. All right, we was all here chopping down trees. We need better fuel. Then we got to the coal. Then we got to whatever. Now we had gas. Now we had electricity or whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. And it's going to keep going because to live long enough, there's going to be another problem. We're going to solve the problem. But in order to solve these problems, you have to cut off the cancers, right? You got to get rid of the cancers.
But the cancers are not, I don't necessarily think that the cancers are the low thinking people. I think the cancers are the higher thinking people that are greedy. And
even if that's the case, then you gotta cut those cancers.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. But they're not the issue.
It's always rich, educated people who are taking advantage of poor, underdeveloped people, right? Where these kind of things are done because we're supposed to expect these high thinking people to be on their best behavior, right? Yeah. Why would they mess up their careers to come down here and mess with the little guy with these Ponzi schemes and all this shady dealing in the market, the stocks and bonds and all that kind of stuff? So it's one thing I just want to say to everybody here and to everybody listening, right? The reason why a white man feels impugned to do a lot of things that maybe we won't do is because they have the confidence to do so. They've been given the confidence to understand you can try almost anything and feel safe doing so because there's nobody who's going to come for you, while you attempt to do these things. There are a lot of us who have broken through barriers, shattered glass ceilings, right? And they've been allowed to do so. What I'm saying is those are exceptional moments. That is not, for all of us to really believe that it's a good possibility. A white man or white woman can think they have a good possibility to achieve things that a lot of us scared to think about because a lot of us don't even get out of our hood. We don't even travel around the city. We stay in the hood and listen to what somebody heard off of TV or what somebody heard off a short on their phone.
Check this out. Check this out. I hear what you're saying, right? But again, I don't feel like I'm an exception to the rule. I feel like I just work a little bit harder, right? So, as many may know, I did 5 years in prison, right? Came home from prison. First thing motherfuckers say, oh man, you can't get no passport. You're a felon, right? Where the fuck did that shit come from? I don't know, right? But had I listened to them same niggas that was telling me that shit, right? I would not have all the stamps that I got in my passport right now, right? And everybody sees me traveling, right? All right, boom. Another thing. Let's go to Vietnam. America. All of these privileged white men that thought that, hey, we're the best of the best. We're going to go into this country. We're just going to do what we want to do and take it over, right?
Yeah.
And what happened when we got there? Dumb little Asian motherfuckers served us up. So you can't say like, yo, because you're entitled or you and they had the best weapons, they had the planes or whatever the case may be, but still got their ass handed to them by this tiny little country of small Asian people, right? Yeah. They still was able to serve us up. And America was one of the biggest superpowers at the time, right? And they still got their ass kicked. So you can't be saying, and about poor strategy. What I'm trying to say is like us as being black people, right? You can't keep with these excuses as to, well, man, well, you know, everybody else got all the this and the that. Only thing that you missing as us is the backbone to get out there and do the shit.
So that's what I'm getting at. I'm saying there is a way to give our people the same kind of confidence for real. But a lot of us will not get away from the brand loyalty that we have to a lot of white products and services. Let me give you an example. What's your favorite cereal? Everybody just say whatever their favorite cereal is.
Frosted Flakes.
Right.
Lucky Charms. I'm not really a cereal eater, but
we just talking about hypothetically, right? What would be your favorite cereal? I know you don't eat cereal like that, but what would be your favorite cereal?
When I did, I like Frosted Flakes.
Yeah.
I think Raisin Bran.
Raisin Bran, right?
Raisin Bran.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, fuck these Raisin Bran.
So I would say Cinnamon Toast Crunch, right? All of these products are Kellogg's products or they're General Mills products, right? Owned by white companies, right? Okay. A black company says, I'm going to make some cereal that is healthier for you, but tastes just as good as you can still have your whatever and this, that, third, but it comes in this form and it's completely healthy. All these different things are taken out of it. They selling you on health, right?
Right.
And the fact that we are black owned, right? So come support us, right? How many people gonna stop eating what they love, right? To then go support this product because of what? A loyalty we had to black people. We don't have a loyalty to each other. We just share a commonality, right?
Check this out. And whose fault is that? That is the problem of us black people.
That's how we treat each other, right? If I didn't feel like, certain people are whatever they are to me that look like me, I might be more willing to do that. Now, let's say something like a service like getting your hair cut, right?
Right.
We already going to the black barbershop for that because we trust that black barber to give us that haircut we desire like that. We don't want to go to a white man to cut our hair no more than we want to go see Jamaicans cooking Chinese food, right? We kind of know where we are with certain things, right? Even white people, they don't really want to go see other white people entertain them. They'd rather see us entertain them in some form or another, whether it be competitions, sports, right? Concerts and events, on TV. They can see us in these movies and being stand-up comics and all these different things. The music we have. We're among the most imitated people, on the planet. I agree. But all these people, you ask them, would you like to be black though? Hell no.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? But I wish I had the swag of a black man though. I wish I had the member size of a black man. I wish I had his woman. I wish I could dance like him and sing like him and rap like and all kinds of stuff. I wish I could think like the black man. I wish I had his peace. I wish what I mean?
I think that goes back. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I think that goes back to what you were saying. Like, we're just lacking vision in a sense, like a solid vision and consistency, because we already know, you're talking about Kellogg's and stuff. They already we already know for even like the chickens and the eggs, it's a monopoly of like, it's certain. It's like 3 people that own all that shit already. Okay.
Who own Newport
Did we
cigarettes?
decide that
Who own Newport
I
cigarettes?
don't know. You know, I don't know. But I'm about to look it up in a second.
Philip Morris,
confidence.
right? And
Vision
Philip
and
Morris.
confidence.
That's a part of
Black
your
people are
value
scared.
system. We have what's her name? Charmaine Bryant talks about value and vibration, right? So low value, high value, low vibration and high vibration, those are separate. Sometimes we see a white person with a high value sense and we think that that's synonymous with vibrating high. And it's not. That's why you have people who have mental illness on all levels of income because they appear with high value but still
Low vibration.
Low vibration. And we all have that duality. It's a choice, you know. And it's hard to convince people to choose to increase their value system, to change their value system. That's something that you got when you was
It's subjective in a
little.
sense too. Even as little, when you little,
Yeah.
it's subjective.
You gotta go through stuff, and if there's certain things you just don't go through, you may not reach that point of evolution.
You know what we're getting better about though? Mental health.
Yeah.
More and more black people are starting to realize that they should go see a psychotherapist somewhere.
You know what? I
that's
got
a
to
topic.
be that
That's a
guy,
topic.
right? No, because here's the thing. More and more black people now starting to play this crazy shit, and I don't agree with it, right? Everything ain't mental health, right? You know when niggas is crazy, you lock them away.
You got to
So if they start locking niggas away,
You got
right?
to cut that shit
We'll see
out.
how many niggas still crazy. You know, plain and simple. Nah, I'm just calling it how it is. I'm not playing to just be against black people and things like that. Right? I am for black people. I'm super pro black, right? But I want us to be the best because we the best, not just because you like, yo, I'm black. And yo, support me because I'm black owned business, black. No, support me because my shit is booming. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm good at what I do. I'm the best at what I do, and that's what I want for my people.
We think saying though to other black people, because otherwise, how would you know I exist as I am? Right? I put my label out in front of my store.
Right.
My sign is up. It's blinging. My store look good and all of that. But you don't know who owns the store, right?
Right.
You do kind of sometimes at a new place, unless it really attracts you to just go in there and see what's in there, right? When you find out the person or has a label on their door that says black owned business, right?
Right.
Does that deter you or does that make you want to go in and help support whatever it might be? If you find something interesting about it. I think that a lot of us would see that or hear somebody say, I'm black, this is my business, come support it, right? Those people probably would be underselling their business because you should attract as many people as possible to your business, you know, to come
and
get
you
it.
should
So
attract them not because it's a black owned business. You should attract them because you have the best shit to offer at your business.
That's how I believe.
It's a deterrence for me now because when people be like, yo, black owned business, right? You know what I think of when I hear black owned business? Poor fucking service, right? And that may not be the truth, but that's what I think of because all the other times that I frequented black owned businesses, right? You know what I got? Poor fucking service, right? So it's like you might get my money in the beginning because here I am, yo, I want to support my people. But then my people is not supporting me by giving me the good fucking service that I deserve once I come in there.
That's still a part of the low value.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So that sounds like a double low, low value, low vibration. We should be helping each other though.
It's a restaurant.
We should be helping each other when we see that. We should say, yo, can I talk to you for a minute?
Niggas don't be trying to, you can't even talk to niggas, you know, because they ain't even trying to hear it, right? The moment you start to criticize, because that's what they're going to take it as. They're not going to take it as help. They're going to take it as criticism. The moment you start to criticize what they got going on, it's like, man, fuck you, this, that, and third. You know what I'm saying?
I laugh because it's true.
I've been to a black restaurant, right?
It's a lot of truth.
Been to a black restaurant. You get to the black restaurant, guess what? And I'm not even going to call out this restaurant, because I'm not going to tear them down, but I'm just going to tell you what the service was like, right? You get to the black restaurant, motherfuckers ain't got shit on the menu. Everything that's posted on the menu, none of that shit is prepared for you to Not only that, you get there, them niggas ain't even there on time, right? So it's like, oh man, what time this spot open up? You get there, they walking in the same time you walking in. And I get it, but no, I don't get it because I don't get it, right? I don't get it. I'm about to say because I come to work every day, but this not my shit. You know what I'm saying? On my own shit, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna show up because I want people to fuck with me, not because I'm black, but because I am the best at what I'm trying to do.
And those are the businesses that stick around. Like, I mean, that's just what it is. Like, if you got poor customer service, you ain't got no customers. Like, and then all your hard work as a business owner just went down the drain. So you either gonna take constructive criticism and grow, or you're gonna lose your business. And I mean, at the end of the day.
But the point I'm trying to make is once you lose the business, man, these niggas wouldn't even support, man. Y'all ain't know I put a black restaurant in the neighborhood. Nobody came through and nobody supported.
So low vibrational people then. And that's they're just going back to where their brains led them to, like where their energy kept them. Yeah, like
they can't accept the accountability. Like, man, maybe what did I do?
How can I revamp
for this to fail like this?
Listen. You know what else we can't forget? During slavery times, there was black people telling on other black people.
Yeah.
There was black slaves telling on other black slaves, looking for an opportunity to get in massa's house, right? So they can cozy up and have what they would consider to be a cushy life versus being outside in that cotton field or whatever labor they had those other people doing. So we, for a long time, have probably had, even when we were in Africa, right? We had people who were trying to get a leg up on somebody in a malicious way, malevolent way.
I don't think it's a leg up. I think we've always been pit against each other.
Now, is somebody making us see a way to do that, or are we internalizing, I just don't like that person, or
I think it's both.
Damn, we had that conversation. We had a conversation about hate.
It's that hate in your blood, man.
I think it's both. Y'all watch that movie, Hotel Rwanda?
Yeah.
You have the Hutus and the Tutsis,
and
the Hutus are running around killing the Tutsis. Your nose is pointy, and you got the features of you're light skinned and you're not dark skinned. I think we've always been pit against each other. I think there's, like Matt said, I think there's been racism within black people.
The jigaboos and the wannabes.
I think even in the slavery days, we were pit against each other, like you were saying. There's light skinned or the house niggas and the field niggas. That's all we know. Honestly,
for a long time. So it's going to be hard to get past that kind of thinking. But what I'm saying is I'm a solution guy, right? And I ultimately think what the real solution is we can't dismiss these activists that are out here engaging pockets of black people, right? And they're just going from this pocket to that pocket until they can get, a mass envelope of these people to just encourage them with information, resources. Now maybe because this is what we say about the kids, right? We tell them everything they need to know. They might not utilize it right away, but there may be a situation that comes up that compels them to think back to that center of understanding that we gave them, where then they can apply it in the moment. So even if somebody, get the information, but they kind of show up late to the game with the information for real, something probably compelled that person at that time that, hey, I remember, dude saying, this is where I need to go to look for this kind of job right here, or this the internet site I need to go and find out how to set up my own business, or this might need, since I won a lot of money from the lottery, they said I might need some financial counseling if I ever got a lot of money. So somebody might say, well, back then when I was told that, I didn't have no money to get financial counseling. I didn't have a reason to get that. But at some point, people do take these pearls and these gems and they utilize it in some sort of way. So we can't let, regression or even the fact that things get stifled by the individual people we're trying to give this information to. But we do know that it's still important to just continue with it anyway. Because again, it's the responsible nature of people who do think on higher levels to understand that even when people aren't doing exactly what we want them to do, the time and the effort that we put into this overtime will show and demonstrate like it has. I'm saying historically, there has been progression, right? So as long as we keep our foot on the gas, it might look like the can is getting kicked down the road, but that's just how it looks. The reality is we are steadily progressing, whether that's by every 10 years, every 20 years, every 5 years, every 1 year. We're having these, moments where we can see growth is there. I know George Floyd just got killed, right? But when George Floyd got killed, it wasn't like the massacres of old, where it wasn't just George Floyd on one day.
Right.
There were hundreds of George Floyds in one day, for weeks, for months, for
Floyds
years.
now?
You know what I'm saying? What you said? What?
What are they at now?
George Floyd's?
Yeah.
I mean, waiting to be George Floyd. Like that's probably what that is. But
see, I got
you can get these people, you can get these cops who know who these fuck people are in their organization. I asked the police. I sat down and asked real police in their face.
Matter of fact, we need to do that next one. I'm sorry, let me cut you.
Go ahead.
Do that next one. You, any cop friends that you have, invite them here. Because I want to have a conversation with some of these.
We got a
pigs.
cop neighbor.
Yeah.
Man. And I don't know.
Is it open? Is that
I don't
open
know
for?
if people come
Because I got friends as well. I sit
Bring
down and I talk with them as well. So
bring the
y'all
cop
really
friends
trying to
up
get
here.
like.
Good cop, bad cops,
They gonna pull
all
you over
bad
every
cops.
day.
Doing it already. Anyway, let's wrap this up. It's been a good one. Y'all was missing with the bullshit. Peace.
Support your local marching bands.